Good evening and welcome to round 7 of the UkSimracers MX5 Championship live from Virginia International Raceway in the USA. Current track length 5.22 kilometers and set in the city of Alton in the United States of America. Major events this currently holds is the IMSA Sports Championship, the GT World Challenge America, the Trans Am Series, the FR America's Motor America Series, as among many others as well. This is one of 6 configurations of this circuit here at Virginia. We have got the Patriot course, the South course, the North course, the Grand East course, the Grand West course, and the International Raceway course, which we are driving on this evening. So in the booth with me this evening is myself and Dan Pepels. As always, I am James Parfitt, and I'll be here guiding you through all the action happening on track this evening. This course opened up in 1957 and reopened in March 2000. So it opened in 57, closed in 74, and then it opened in March 2000. So there you go. I hope everybody's well. Martin, welcome in. Much love for joining us. If you are here for the first time, guys, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bells, and give the broadcast a big old thumbs up. That would be absolutely amazing. I think it's time we brought the one, the only Dan Pepels into the booth this evening. Dan, good evening. How are you, sir?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, James. First of all, sorry if I sound like I'm on the toilet. I am not. Just to clarify, something has gone wrong with my mic, and I don't know what, because I've changed absolutely nothing. But yeah, here at Virginia Raceway, what a track this is. I think it has some of the same characteristics to Phillip Island, yep. Where we've seen some amazing racing, and it has, of course, that very, very long back straight.
Yeah, absolutely does. What we'll do, guys, is take you through the standings. Now, what we're going to do is, because this is a free season event, okay, so this is 3 seasons that this takes place. So what we're going to do is bring you up the overall current standings of the Drivers' Championship. Now, what this brings us is basically the cumulative scores of everyone in the championship at the moment. So as you can see, Pete Van Gool is leading the overall across 3 seasons, currently on 8,309. Jamie Ayres on 7,919. Pete Newman in 3rd place. Steve Hefford in 4th. Charles Kellerman 5th. Craig Jones is the leader of the AMS on 7,351. Ralph Cullinan in 7th. Andy Maxwell 8th. Elise Main 9th. Darrell Wright 10th. Steve Hansford 11th. Daniel Hunt is 12th. Craig Crawford 13th. Andy Littler 14th. Carl Jacklett 15th. Alan Toon 16th. Mick Barry is down in 17th place with Martin Sampson in 18th. Behind that, we have got Roger Morton, Dale Bennison, Roy Vivek, Jason Morris, Darren McLean, Ches Rizzo, Will Currington, and Mike Wortman, followed at the end of the back by Carl Hardy. So that is the current overall standings of the race. Now let's look at this season's championship standings as well. In the pros, we've got Steve Hefford leading us off on 1,886. Pete Van Gool in 2nd. Jamie Ayres in 3rd. Charles Kellerman 4th. Carl Jacklett 5th. Daniel Hunt 6th. Ralph Cullinan 7th. Pete Newman 8th. Andy Maxwell 9th. Elise Main in 10th. Martin Sampson in 11th. Darren McLean in 12th. Ches Rizzo in 13th. Will Currington 14th. Roy Vivek 15th. And Carl Hardy in 16th place. Now in the AMS, of course, we have got Roger Morton leading us off on 1,524. Craig Jones in 2nd, 1,504. Darrell Wright, 1,503. So it's really close at the top there. Mick Barry in 4th. Andy Littler 5th. Alan Toon 6th. Steve Hansford 7th. Craig Crawford 8th. Dale Bennison is in 9th. Now in the team standings for this season, we have got Momo in 1st place on 6,214. Results Clothing iRacing Team on 4,334. Optical Red on 3,856. Optical Green on 3,786. Work Guard by Result on 3,299. Safeguard by Result on 3,184. DOF Reality Sim Racing Studios 1,481. Pure Sims on 1,432. And Optical Blue on 1,121. Now overall in the team, spread across the 2.5 seasons, we got Momo out in front, followed by Optical Green Arena, Results Clothing iRacing Team, Optical Red, Work Guard by Result, Pure Sims Esports, Optical Blue, DOF Reality, and Safeguard by Result. As you can see there, Momo have currently got 26,610 points spread across the last 2.5 seasons. So it's going to be absolutely epic for them if they can rack up more points. And that's probably being helped by Steve Hefford, who is just literally a podium man currently at this moment in time. And I'm sure Dan will tell us all about that very shortly. But welcome in, Phil, Daniel, Jeremy, and Mick Barry. I am back. Absolutely incredible, Mick. Welcome back to you. But Dan, why don't you guys guide us through the results for last week's race, bud?
Well, last week at Mosport was an amazing event with some good racing. The pole position was taken by Pete Newman, Daniel Hunt in second, Steve Hefford in third. The pole position in the AM class was for Darrell Wright. Then we move on to race 1, where we saw some amazing fights, but Pete Newman coming out ahead of Daniel Hunt and Steve Hefford in third. Winner in the AM class there was Darrell Wright. In race 2, it was Elise Main coming through victorious. Now 2 weeks in a row that she has taken a victory. Annie Maxwell in P2 and Martin Sampson in P3. And Craig Jones was the winner in the AM class. Race 3, it was Daniel Hunt who took the victory ahead of Steve Hefford and Jamie Ayres in P3. Winner in the AM class was Roger Morton. Daniel Hunt finished first in the 4th race. Pete Newman finished second. Third was Jamie Ayres, and the winner in the AM class, and one of the only finishers in the AM class, was Darrell Wright. The outstanding performance in race 3, though, from Sir Alan Toon to get a podium, I think. In the end, he was actually second on the podium in the AM class there.
Yeah, it was as well. Darrell Wright is in YouTube chat. Won't be racing tonight. Have tech issues. So you'll be watching live with us, Darrell. That will be absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, it's going to affect your championship standings, which is a bit of a shame. But hopefully the drop weeks will kick in, and you know, you will be able to save some points by losing off some of the smaller results, which will be this one because you won't get any points. So there you go. Absolutely incredible. It was an absolutely epic race for last week, Dan, wasn't it? There wasn't many cars left on track by the end of it.
By the end of race 4, no, there wasn't. I don't know what they had last week out at Mosport in race 4 as we come to the end of practice now, but man, they seem to be on an elimination fest, all of them, just on their own, not just the drivers on each other, but on their own, just crashing. And I don't think we've seen that thus far this season, but I think in the end we only had about 11 or 12 drivers from all the 20 crossing the line.
Yeah, we did. It was a very, very, how can I put it, interesting race 4, and I want to give a shout out, guys, to the guys at Track Cameras 22 for providing us with the cameras this evening as well. So much love to them. Thank you so much as well. You can check out their link down in the description below, trackcams22.com, and for all of your cameras that you require for broadcasting, picture taking, and many, many more that you want to use it for. So absolutely much love to them because they have been incredible to us by supplying us with these cameras. So, but what are we thinking tonight? Virginia's a different kind of racetrack, Dan, I think, isn't it? And you know, these guys are really kind of going to have to think about what it is they're looking at doing this evening, because they're not going to get much opportunity to sort of recover, I suppose. This is the first time I've been here. I think this is the first time you've been there as well. And overall, you know, it's kind of alien to us regarding the racing, I guess.
It is, but before we go anywhere else, James, you've done the sponsors, and I'm going to do the next. Guys, we're so close to 200 subscribers, so if you know anyone who isn't subscribed yet, send them a link of the live stream and make sure that they subscribe. Only 3 subscribers to go, I think, at the moment before we get to the 200 there at the beginning of qualifying. If you could hit it, I think, by the end of the stream, that would be amazing, and James would like you all. But yeah. So don't forget to smash that like button as well. Nightbot is on that as well, so I don't even have to say that anymore. But just to remind you guys that we are so close to 200 subscribers. Yeah, I'm expecting some great racing here this evening, James.
Yeah, I think overall, you know, it's going to be absolutely incredible. And yes, we are on 197 subscribers, so we are really close to the 200 mark, which isn't bad for a channel that's only 6 weeks old in general terms of YouTube. So as I say, as Dad said, please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on them bells for notifications, because it will be absolutely incredible. But we've got Steve Hefford leading us off here this evening, currently leading this autumn championship with Pete Van Gool leading overall. Of course, that's what we looked at earlier on, was the overalls of 2.5 seasons. Basically, it's a 3-season event, guys. It isn't just 1 season. They obviously have the winner of this season as well, but overall, it is a 3-season event that these guys run here from the UkSimracers. So absolutely amazing racing to be involved with. And if you haven't watched any of this racing, I promise you it will literally be the best MX5 racing you have ever watched, because it's absolutely incredible. So if you are here, sit back, get a drink and relax, because I'll tell you what, tonight I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. And we've got 4 heats this evening, 4 15-minute heats with a reverse grid as well, the top 14 after race 1. So obviously first place goes to 14th and so on as well. So we'll keep an eye on Steve Hefford, because he is our podium man, Dan, isn't he? How's he getting on in his podium standings currently at the moment?
I think at the moment he has a 2, if I'm correct with that, because last race out at Mosport in the 2nd race, he could not finish on the podiums, and he ended the 5 podium streak. But yeah, on a podium streak of 2 at the moment. I think he's the only one who's this consistent, and that is also why he's in the lead of the championship there at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Consistency is the key, and that is an important factor here this evening as well. They've got to be consistent for the 4 races, otherwise they won't score points. And I think that's what these guys thrive on at the moment this evening as well, is being consistent, because they have been pretty much throughout this whole entire season. So it's going to be even more interesting to see how they get on, because I think this is going to be something that we're not going to really... It's kind of alien, Dan, isn't it, coming to Virginia? Because as you say, you've not been here, I've not been here before. And I think overall we're in for an absolutely epic treat there. As you can see where they are on the track map, they're going down that long straightaway, down currently into the tight hairpin at turn 1. And we're going to have times coming through, start coming through on the board. Daniel Hunt is leading us off on a 2:07.859. Jamie Ayres jumping around at the moment. We will bring you the standings when they settle down a little bit, because as you see currently they're coming in thick and fast. So everybody's obviously on green, being that this is their first lap, guys, as well. So stay tuned and see how they get on here tonight. But what we've looked at so far, I think, Dan, it kind of gives it, this track, to some nice free-flowing kind of racing, doesn't it? We're seeing James on board with Daniel Hunt currently. He's going up through turn 5A before we go into this long section, this kind of, well, we're on board with Steve Hefford, sorry, this long straight kind of wiggly section. It's not really corners though, is it? Because they're kind of quite fast-flowing, aren't they?
They are, although in MX5, not really a lot of downforce. You see, they do have to lift. If you're brave, you can take that flat, but you do have to take the perfect line through there. This one isn't flat at all. You have to lift, otherwise you're going to shoot out wide onto the grass and end up somewhere in the oblivion. But yeah, you have to lift there. So this is a really tricky one. Just a 3, just standing in the middle of the circuit. That's something I've seen nowhere else. But yeah, that's well known here at Virginia Raceway. But yeah, the track as well, with this long straight that we're on now, we just had a long straight coming out of a slow corner. I just personally think, James, we're going to drive past down this straight. Then you have another couple of corners coming up where he's going into now. A little chicane here, let someone past. I think that is Jamie Ayres, indeed, with the black letters on the car. And he flies by in P3 at the moment, but he is improving, although not in sector 3, 4, and 5. But you have these corners, and then you get back onto another straight. So a lot of overtaking for opportunity, although the track is quite, well, it's not wide as usual tracks are. It's quite a tight track.
Yeah, they are going to have to be a little bit careful. You see, we have got 2 long straightaways here this evening, and then we go into tight and twisty corners, so they are going to have to be a little bit careful. I think at the end of the day, you know, these guys are fairly sensible. We're used to them raising nose to tail constantly.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going to get anything different tonight. I think overall we're in for probably a nice epic treat of racing. As we can see Jamie Ayres there famously doing his Jamie Ayres Tokyo drift around pretty much every single corner he possibly can, drift the car, and he does it quite often as well. So again, he's coming through that wiggly section of 5, 5A, 6 and 6A. That's annoying. And then they'll go off down a long straightaway from 6A right the way down to 7. So they do have a wonderful way of dealing with their
It's America, my friend.
track numbers. Yeah, we've been there before, haven't we? I want to make note of Craig Jones, who's currently the lead car in Results Clothing iRacing team. I'm sure Ralph Cullinan is not going to be happy about that, considering that, you know, Craig is an AM and Ralph is a pro. However, Craig has won 2 out of the 3 seasons here, so he will be instantly promoted if he wins the championship overall into the pro class anyway. So we were expecting Craig Jones in the next of the seasons to kick off, and he will be in the pro class. So there we go. Looking forward to that one, because I think him and Ralph together, well, you put them in the booth together, you're going to be in stitches. So let's put it that way. You know, many times I've spoken to them good 2 together in the booth, and I've spent pretty much 10 minutes just laughing my cotton socks off. So I can't see this being any different this evening.
Me neither, James. And I think if we just take a look at the championship, which we've just done. Oh, I thought that was someone off. That was a weird camera through the paddock. But we're looking at Pete Newman, who's going to try and take pole position away from Daniel Hunt across the line. Is going to be an improvement for him? The answer is
no.
Not quite. Yes, it is an improvement, but not in terms of positions. And he actually needed that improvement. Otherwise, he would have been jumped by the both behind him, Steve Effort and Pete Van Gool. And maybe Jamie Ayres, I don't know in what kind of force he was. But yeah, he needed that improvement. But still 2/10 off of Daniel Hunt at the moment.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Carl Hardy has come and joined us again. I think this is the first time we've actually seen Carl this season. So Carl Hardy is out on track currently at the moment. It's going to be see what he can do. Currently sitting in 6th place in the pros for the Safeguard by Result Clothing iRacing team. So we'll have to keep an eye out on Carl and see what he can produce this evening as well. So there will be a lot of flickering about with liveries as the wonderful world of trading paints catches up, and then we will go in and carry on from there, really. So we'll just ignore it while it does its thing in the background. Daniel Hunt is on pole position on a 2:07.86 at the moment as well, with 4.5 minutes remaining. He's coming into the double right-hander, well, famously called Oak Tree. And there's a tree just there, so that's probably why it's called Oak Tree Corner.
I guess that's an oak tree then.
Yeah, I'm guessing it is, to be honest. But that's the thing with this, you know, you've got the NASCAR bend, you've got the left hook, you've got the snake, you've got the oak tree, you've got South Bend, you've got roller coaster and hog pen. Now, hog pen to me is pigs, right? You know, pigs being hogs. So maybe that's what is related to. Is there a pig pen anywhere near here, Dan, as we're currently in?
Not that I know of.
Well, we're currently going into that section of the hog pen, which is this corner here. Now, obviously, I can't see any pigs on the track, so maybe that's something. Oh, as we see Pete Newman having a big old spin there. Maybe that's something that they aptly named their corner anyway. But yeah, never heard of the hog pen. Or I believe it's actually called Stag Pen, so either one is named after an animal. So, there we go.
Okay. Well, no, I think you forgot one corner.
Don't look at me, have I?
You forgot the climbing S's? Did you notice? Did you say them? The horseshoe, of course, I think you said that one, the hairpin.
No, see on my track map, I don't have that.
It's the first corner is called the horseshoe. And corner 8A and 8B and 9 is that section is called the climbing S's.
Oh, okay. Maybe I need to update my stuff. I haven't even got it on the one on Wikipedia either, Dan. So not quite sure what is going on there, but I'm sure we'll live and survive another day with different corner names this evening. But put it this way, they're called the S's. That's all we really need to worry about, because I think that's probably where a lot of side-by-side action is going to be taking place through this section. And also, once you go around the oak tree at the end there, I think they're going to have that long straightaway where they're going to be running. A lot of manoeuvres are going to be taking place, I think, there as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of different ways. In the 1970s, the track was closed for a few years and was a farm until it was reopened. Obviously, Phil's been on Wikipedia as well. So there we go. Dan's just sent me his that. Yeah, Dan's just sent me his track map to tell me to make sure I've got the same names as him. But, you know, we won't worry about that. Yeah, it was shut in 1970, believe it or not. So there you go.
Well,
interesting.
How can you make a farm of a racetrack and then make it back into a racetrack? That doesn't make sense to me, because what does a farmer need in terms of asphalt?
He doesn't. Really? I don't know, Dan. I can't answer that, but I guess they found another use for it.
I think the answer is just America.
Maybe.
They do things that their way there.
Yeah, absolutely they do as well. So we're coming about 1 minute 34 of practice before we before we go into the race as well. I'm just waiting for everything to kind of update. It's still running rather slowly at this moment in time. As you can see there, car 37, Dale Bennison, is blue with yellow stripes, and a few people in front is not quite in the correct livery either. So just bear with. I'm sure the wonderful world of TP will update, and they will all kick into place at some point. We've got 1 minute 7 on the clock. Roger Morton is improving his time. He's in the Safeguard by Results team, currently coming through the long back straight, technically, I would say, here as well. And there's a few cars looking like they're off track at the moment as well, so we'll have a go and see what will happen and take place there as well. We're just waiting for the screen to pop back up, so everybody is moving again. But car number 15, which is Andy Littler, sat on the infield just mowing grass there, Dan. So yeah, I have to see what he can do.
Yeah, doing the old farmer justice, that one. So but yeah, Danny at the moment in pole position on a 207.859, ahead of Pete Newman on a 208.048. So actually no one really improving anymore at the moment. If I look at my timing screen, the only one really improving is Andy Littler in P15, but he's stood still on the infield, so that's from an old lap. This Roger Morton though improves up into P10 at 2 minutes 10.63. And that, James, is the end of qualifying.
Yeah, so let's bring you up the grid. There you go, Dan. Grid's up for you.
Well then, here we go. Daniel Hernandez in P1, Pete Newman P2, Steve Heffert P3, Pete Van Gool P4, Jamie Ayres P5, 6 Carl Hardy, 7 Denise Main, Ralph Cullen in P8, Charles Kellyman in P9, Craig Jones P10, the pole position in the AM class, second in the AM class, Roger Morton, Carl Jacklin in P12, P13 for Dale Bennison, and third in the AM class, 14th Andy Maxwell, 15 Andy Littler, Steve Hansford in P16, P17 for Craig Crawford, Sir Alan Toon P18, P19 for Martin Sampson, and Mick Barry in P20. If you're wondering why I'm reading it this fast, it's because these guys normally get out onto the grid really, really quickly.
Yes, they do, insanely quickly, and they don't hang around. So that's why we kind of sped read them through. Phil's put, if you watch the stream from here at the last weekend, it goes through the history of the circuit. Well, you'll have to send me the link for that, Phil, because I don't have it, and I haven't watched it clearly. So here we go. We're going to be under starters orders very, very shortly, guys. Sit back and enjoy this as we've got the lights coming on now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are underway with Daniel Hunt. Wheel spinning up that MX5, leaving that gap there for Steve Heffert to really close up to the back of him as we're coming down into that tight horseshoe section at the beginning. And let's have a look as we tune in with the mid-pack action of Ralph Cullen and Carl Hardy and Elise Main. Are they all going to make it through successfully currently at the moment? There's a few stoppers at the back. Roger Morton had to hit the brakes there as well. as he goes off around the tricky NASCAR bend. So Daniel Hunt currently out in front, Pete Newman in second, Steve Heaven in third. They are chasing each other down like an absolute banshee, but here they are coming racing towards us. So they're going to start their journey round 5A and down through the S's for the first time this evening, Dan.
You saw in turn one that it all bunched up, it all got through cleanly. And I think the only one dropping down quite a lot is our man Roger Morton. He has dropped down 9 positions, up 6 for Martin Sampson, up 4 for Mick Barry. Those are the biggest movers, or the biggest losers and gainers. You can see them on the left-hand side of the screen. But Daniel Hunt is the one who's still in first place, and the top 3 basically remain the same.
Yeah, so front 3 haven't moved there at all. Jamie is up 1 and Elise Main's up 1 as well. Well done to Elise, absolutely flying this evening. Currently under attack, mind you, from the ever-looming Irishman of Ralph Cullinan. So Ralph there doing the business and trying to close down on Elise Main. He's managed to get past Craig Jones. Craig Jones is down 1 as well, as we see Carl Hardy going off onto the grass there at the moment and is going down the order as fast as anything. So back into the action, Pete Van Gaal and Jamie Ayres here, the 2 guys from Momo. Dan, where have we seen this before?
I think almost at every track we've seen this before. They are just a team, and once again, all 3 in the top 5. I think if we take a look at the team championship as well, they're on top, and this is why. They're all so consistent, always in the top 5, and we've seen it basically at every other track. Here you go, Momo in P3, Momo in P4, and Momo in P5. All 3 drivers from that team in the top 5 and chasing down the guys ahead of them. Pure Sims Esports, Pete Newman in P2, and Danny Hunt from the OF Reality Sim Racing Studios in first. So yeah, just hunting them down, and they're doing it as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys do work, and wonderful team there they are as well. With Elise and Main, Carl Jacklett is looking at making moves further back. He's just gone past Charles Kellerman, along with Craig Jones tucked up right behind him at the moment as well. So they're heading down into turn 2 and turn 3. These 2 corners very close together, and they go left-handed, and then they're going to go left again, round the left hook, as we can see Elise Main taking a little bit of divert over the grass, manages to hold on, only loses a position to Ralph Cullen and stayed in front of Carl Jacklett at the moment, which is always good for her there as well. So Elise Main taking a little divert off through the grass. As we can see now, these guys are swooping through the S's. Daniel Hunt, Pete Newman, Steve Efford, Jamie Ayres, PVG, our very own Pete Van Gaal there flying currently at the moment, Dan. 11:45 on the clock. It's going to be a tough one for these guys up front, I think.
It is, and like we said, the slipstreaming effect is quite big here, but I expect it to be bigger than it is at the moment. 2 tenths. The gap that you need by the beginning of the straight really seems to be about the 4 tenths margin, and Danny Hunt now is within that. He's going to try and overtake towards the end. But yeah, the slipstream effect not as big as I would have expected that one to be, James.
Yeah, we've got Pete Newman currently climbing all over the back of Daniel Hunt. As you can see, these guys are going to be coming sweeping in front of us. There they go, right the way down into the tricky left-right-hander here as well. So we'll keep an eye on that as they're coming down into the roller coaster. So they've gone left. Then they're going to go right round the roller coaster, which is in effectively 14 and 14A, before they go sweeping off round 15, 16, and down through 17. So there we go. Pay attention, because it is going to be absolutely incredible and really close racing. They seem to have settled down quite a lot, though, Dan, haven't they? They're not in their normal climbing all over each other's self at the moment.
They have, though. Steve Hefford into the pit there, and I don't know why that is. Is that maybe for a jump start? Because I thought someone jumped the start when we went to green flag. And I think coming through onto lap 3 now, Steve Hefford does have to take, I think, that 30-second stop.
No,
he does not. That's a weird one.
Did he not put enough fuel in? That would be the question.
That would be awkward, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
to do that in a 50-minute race. Because why would you risk it? Mick Barry, though, at the moment in second in the AM class. He's been performing really, really well the last couple of weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done a stellar job. Ignore his livery. His livery is normally in the bottom left of the screen. I'm not quite sure why it's updating, but it's taken absolutely ages. Now, I did obviously reload these before we started, and it's just taken absolutely forever again to reload them. So obviously the liveries are the same as what's on their bottom left there as well. See Daniel Hunt under the pressure of Pete Newman as Pete and Daniel come down into the tricky hairpin section. It's downhill as well. You saw the undulation go down, then they're going up, and now they've got the hairpin to contend with currently at the moment as well. So we have to keep an eye on these guys as they go racing round now down that long straightaway, and this is where we're expecting the closure of the times here, Dan, aren't we? This long straightaway coming down into turn 14.
It is long straightaways where the slipstreaming is going to be happening. As you can see, the gap at the moment, 6/10 from Pete Newman to Danny Hunt. That's going to come down quite a lot, but 6/10 I think is way too far back, as you can see now. Does break a little bit later, gains quite a lot of time here on the exit, and we're now going to see if he can keep that time up, because for me it looked like Daniel Hunt was kind of aiming for the exit and around. Carl Jacklett touches, I think, Charles Kellerman, and he's now round. Oh, that's never good, is it? I think Carl Jacklett waited on him, but yeah, that's never what you want to see.
Yeah, no, Carl Jacklett and Charles Kellerman there as well. Carl has had a dreadful few weeks down, hasn't he? He just can't get no luck at all, can Carl?
No, not at all. Not at all. Carl Jacklett is, well, you have to be in the position to get some luck. It's for him, it just always seems to be a wrong moment or wrong place, wrong time, which is really unfortunate. Carl Jacklett, you know, is so unfortunate. Steve Heffley, though, that's going to once again stop his podium run. That's something I want to point on. So not as consistent as he was at the beginning of the season anymore.
Yeah, I think that's going to put a hold to it currently as well. But Van Gogh has closed up all the way over the back of Pete Newman as these guys go racing up through turn 7, 8, 9 and 10, which is aptly named the S's. So there we go, as we can see them now right nose to tail currently at this moment in time as well. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one and see how this materializes on the nose of Pete Van Gogh as we're coming down into the hairpin. We're going to drop down, and then you can see we've got the undulation up the other side before we go around the hairpin there as well. Around the oak tree we go, and off we go for another run down this long back straight. PVG 4/10 back, and the problem with that, Dan, is the gap's opening on a Pete Van Gogh, and the gap in front with Pete Newman and Daniel Hunt is actually closing. So here we go, we pulled out. Can he get this down? Yeah, he's got the inside down, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got the inside now, but it's going to give Daniel Hunt the inside for the next part of the corner, but he was already ahead when we got to the first apex, and we have a lead change. Pete Newman now up into first place, and Daniel Hunt in second. Daniel Hunt is going to try and do to Pete Newman what Pete Newman just did to him down that back straight, down that long back straight, because it does, James, go on for quite a long while.
Yeah, it does as well. The times is dropping on the left-hand side goes as well. You're down to about 2 tenths at the moment. 0.27, 208, 206 for Pete Newman. Fastest lap there. Craig Jones was very slow out of that corner, and unfortunately has opened up a second gap over Martin Sampson in front. But Daniel Hunt and Pete Newman are side by side. Alan Toon's been taking a trip across the grass, and he's come back on again. So Alan is back and up under his own steam, currently down in 19th place at the moment. But BBG's looking quick, isn't he? He just can't seem to get the gap that he needs to be able to go past Daniel Hunter here, because he's got the speed, but he's just tough when they're in this kind of almost draft train.
It is. Pete Van Gogh there at the moment in P3. What can he do? Because, of course, the man added in Daniel on that slipstream as well. So it's actually going to be difficult for him to try and get past. It looks like they're stuck in kind of a slipstream train at the moment. At the front of the field, although the gap is now closing to both of them. Is he going to try and overtake them both up? The S's, no place where you want to overtake, because it is really tricky to go through there single file now, dropping down the hill. The car can get loose on the top of the hill there. If it does break out, you're off into the grass, and there's no way of getting that car back. Now that as we look from the back of Daniel Hunt's car to Pete Van Gogh, we see the two fists. Is he going to try and attack? I think Daniel Hunt has Pete Newman here.
Oh, yes. I think he's going to get him. He's going to tuck right in behind him at the moment. He pulls out on the left-hand side. Coming down again into turn 14. The aptly named the roller coaster. Can Daniel Hunt do to Pete Newman what Newman did to him the lap before? And it looks like he can. Can PVG follow him through? Pete's got to try to cut back as they go around now through 16 and 17. Here they've got the left-hander, and then we're going to go right. And Pete Van Gool looks like he's closed right back up again, Dan, right behind Pete Newman.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating for Pete Van Gool right now because he's been there for the whole race, but just can't overtake because the guy ahead of him always has that slipstream. He's going to try and get past Pete Newman in some sort of form, but because when he does that, he's the man who actually is going to capitalize on that slipstream. Can he do it around the outside of the hairpin? Doesn't seem like he can at the moment. Well, got to get the better exit maybe down the straight, but it looks like he's gone a little bit too wide there.
Yeah, he's got to kind of stay close through the next couple of sections of corners. He's got to stay close through 4, 5, 6 and 7 to really kind of benefit from this S's pull that we've seen, because at the end of the day, the S's is there and they are doable to go side by side, and it just means that they've got to really try and tuck back up, you know, because Newman's getting a draft from Hunt in front. So BBG really needs to be on the back of Newman, because at the moment, his draft isn't as strong as Newman's on Hunt's. You know, he's not as close, so he's only picking it up a little bit, where Pete Newman is getting a big old dose of thank you very much. Here's some clean air from Daniel Hunt. You can see him now. He's closed right the way up, but BBG has dropped back out to 2/10. He's got to close up now. If I was him, I would kind of send it in deep and hope for the best that this MX5 sticks at the moment, because he really needs to be closer than that as they go down that back straight.
He does. He has another opportunity though, so he doesn't need to do it now. And he always has to remind that he's in a good position in the championship, and he of course is going to have to try and keep the position he is. He has now and not drop further back, because the people ahead of him are the people he's fighting in the overall championship. Is Pete Newman now going to do this quietly down the inside, but he has a good enough run. Now can Pete Van Gool close that gap and not allow Danny Hunt to slot back in? Well, we can't, because the second part of the corner is to the right, and he does have the outside for that, so doesn't manage to do so. He's got to try and carry it around the outside of the second part, I think, James, if he wants to be able to stick that move to second. Yeah,
everybody that's come into that corner is on the inside, so that's where he's got to be. That's without a shadow of a doubt. These guys are coming around the final lap of the race. We will hopefully see Barney, unless he's taking another day off on the right-hand side there. No, he's waving. So Barney is waving the white flag this time around before we go into Heat 2. Top 14 reverse. If I was Daniel Hunt, I would not be closing it out now. I'd want to really kind of stay with Pete Newman through the next few sections and then draft him like he did down that back straight. Because once he gets around there, Dan, I think, to be honest, he's pretty much safe. But he's got to get within a certain amount of drive rate. He's got to get in within that 2/10, because otherwise he's not going to get there. We see this so many times from Pete Newman. Newman literally will win the first race, pretty much guaranteed, every single evening that we come onto the UK SimRacers. He is so fast, and it's tough for anybody to get anywhere near him. But for Daniel Hunt too, he needs to close this drive right up. He's got Van Gool closing up behind him as well. That's down for 2/10. But he needs to be up the back of Pete Newman. You know, you can hear him hitting the rev limiter. He's trying his absolute most to try and carry as much speed through this section of corners before this hairpin, because he needs to be attached to him, doesn't he, down around the hairpin?
He does. Pete Van Gool now behind him is really close as well. Pete Van Gool's probably going to try and get the best exit. Pete Newman though goes a little bit deep, and now he has that toe down the back straight. Down Hunt is going to try and go down the inside. I expect now that Pete Newman is going to defend that inside. Is he not? No, he's not. Danny Hunt is going to try and go around the outside here on the last lap. He has that run quite early on. Pete Newman really going deep, could lose his positions. And Pete Van Gool could go up the inside Danny Hunt as well.
It's got nowhere to go. PVG's got nowhere to go. They literally closed it off to a 2-wide track. Pete Van Gool had nowhere to go there side by side. Going through this next section of corners. He's taking a left, taking a right. Pete Newman's going to get bullied out unless PVG can get up beside him currently at the moment as well. Oh, there's contact. Contact between the two guys at the back, and I think that's going to allow Daniel Hunt to take the victory in race 1. Who's going to get the run down though, down into turn 1? Is it going to be PVG? Is it going to be Daniel Hunt? It's looking like it's going to be Pepels. Van Gool got it by absolutely minuscule amounts of time. And Pete Van Gool took the second place from Pete Newman on the line, and it was literally down 0.017 of a second. That is absolutely incredible. You can see Roger Morton now. He's trying to defend hard from Carl Jacklett currently at the moment. Jacklett is going to get it. Morton's going to get it. I'm not quite sure how Morton got that, to be honest, Dan.
Well, a good run out of the last corners, I think, what happened there. We saw the touch between Pete Van Gool and Pete Newman. That slowed down Danny Hunt quite a lot down the inside. I think somewhere around the same situation happened between Roger Morton and Carl Jacklett.
Yeah, absolutely must have done as well, because that was, yeah, a little bit bizarre, because I've never seen the finishing line end so close on the left-hand side like clearly it did that time around. So, but here we go, guys. Here are the results from Heat 1. Daniel Hunt is in first place. Pete Van Gool in second. Pete Newman took third there as well. Jamie Ayres in fourth. Ralph Cullinan in fifth. Craig Jones sixth. Steve Evans seventh. Charles Kellerman eighth. Mick Barry ninth. Elise Main 10th. Roger Morton 11th. Carl Jacklett 12th. Andy Maxwell is 13th. Andy Littler 14th. Dale Bennison 15th. Steve Hansford 16th. Craig Crawford is down in 17th place. Sir Alan Toon 18th. Martin Sampson down in 19th. And Carl Hardy down in 20th. So we've got Martin Sampson sat in the waiting room. Let's bring in Martin for a chat. Good evening, Martin. How are you, sir?
Good evening, thank you. Yeah, I was doing all right into the last few corners.
Yeah, what happened? Because all of a sudden you've gone down the order into pretty much 19th place.
Well, the first thing I've got to do is huge apologise to Elise. I missed my braking point coming down the back straight. I was watching my mirrors for Craig and for Ralph and all that, and missed my braking point and took Elise out of 5th place, unfortunately.
Well, at least finished. Let me just check. I've got it at 5th as well, but let me just finish. Did she actually finish coming across the line in 5th place? No, at least finished in 10th.
Yeah.
So you're going to be on the on the DMs grovelling, Martin.
I was mortified. I really was. Couldn't believe it. But after all that hard work I did to get back up there, from starting from the back, and then I went and ruined Elise's race. So I apologise to Elise with all my heart. That was awful.
Well, I'm sure Elise is understanding. She's not going to go and put your head on a chopping block just yet, Martin. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll probably get a voodoo dough and all that with some needles going in soon, I reckon.
There are other dolls available, guys, as well. Who needs enemies, says Elise Main in YouTube chat.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Elise, again.
Yeah, when you got teammates like Martin Sampson, Elise, you don't need any enemies, clearly, because Martin just put you out of the race. But look, overall, how is this circuit? Because I've not driven here before in the MX5. I had to buy the track literally about 10 minutes before we went live because I completely forgot I didn't own it. But, what's it like?
It's such a nice track to drive, it really is, and that I love this track. You got to be so precise with your braking, your steering, and if you go slightly offline in that, you can guarantee you're hitting the tyre wall. Yeah, it's really good.
All right, so tell me then, we're going down now all the way on this run down through the S's. We drop round down the hill through tricky turn 10, coming up to 11. We're going round the double right-hander of 11 and 12. And we see an oak tree.
Yeah.
Tell me about it, because that's not something I've seen at a race circuit before.
Oh, so it's when you're coming up through the S's and all that. I mean, they're not corners and that. You just try and take them as straight as possible. Yeah. And then you got to make sure you're in the right position for the little left-hand kink. Because if you get that, if you're even like 2 or 3 miles per hour over speed, you're going to hit the grass and you're into the wall on the left. And if you don't have enough speed, then you're going to lose all that speed going down towards the corner. But to get the oak tree corner right is really difficult and all that, because you're under braking, you're turning, you're squirming, the rear end wants to go left. your front wants to go right and all that. So you're literally on the brakes, steering in every direction other than where the track's going, just to keep that car going around there. It really is immense corner to get that right. But when you get it right, you know it as well.
Well, unfortunately for you, obviously the cutoff is the top 14 reverse, right? You're down in 19th, so unfortunately that's where you're likely to start.
Yeah. Well, when I went on the grass, there's a lump on the grass, and I hit that lump and broke my suspension, so the car wouldn't move. So I was hoping, to try and at least drive it back to the finish line, but no such luck. So another one down the back. So I'll be going for it down the back again. Hopefully, I'll keep a lease on the track this time.
Well, Elise did say she was proud of her race with Ralph right up until the moment somebody in her own team with a different colour car come and wrecked her. No, she didn't put that in.
I don't think I'm going to hear the end of that for a long time, but I deserve it.
Yeah, you definitely do there as well. But Martin Sampson, thank you so much for joining us in the booth between race 1 and 2. Look forward to seeing you in heat 2, preferably not in the back of an optical red car.
Hopefully not. Anybody else, I don't mind, but not an optical car.
Yeah, definitely as well. So, Martin, we will catch up with you later, buddy. Have a good one.
Andy, cheers. Thanks very much.
No worries. So that is Martin Sampson there as well. So much love to everybody who's just jumped in as well. If you can, just as I say, give the video a big old thumbs up for me. That would be absolutely amazing. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on the bells for notifications. Will be even more amazing because we've got some great racing coming up this week on the JPB YouTube channel as well, and it is every single night of the week. We kick off tonight with the UK SimRacers at the Virginia International Raceway. Then we've got Next Gen GT3 from Sebring. Then we got the Radical Race Series from Fuji on Thursday, and we've got the beginning again of the Crest Autosport Touring Car Championship on Race Rooms. So Biggles and Dan will be doing that one on Thursday. So please make sure you come and pop by for that, because that's going to be an absolutely epic evening of racing there as well. Dan did last season, so he'll be able to tell you all about it, and it was incredible, wasn't it, Dan? As they start off this week at Imola. So Dan and Biggles will be on the JPB jet off to Imola. Then on Friday, we've got the FBL Sprint Championship, the Radical World Cup, sorry. It's kind of a sprint, but we're calling it the World Cup. And this week, it's also in Fuji. So we've got the Yams, the Pros, and the Americas after that as well. And then me and Michael are jet setting off to Martinsville on Sunday morning at 1 a.m. for the 100% Cup Series for Next Gen Ovals. So we're kicking off to Martinsville there as well. And then me and Dan are flying back to the UK as we head back for the Radical Endurance race this week as well. And that is also from Fuji. So a lot of action from Japan this week. Dan, how are we going to get all these country miles in there, mate? Because there's a lot going on.
Well, the plane, but James, I have to say the plane. Could you please ask them for baked potatoes and steak?
No.
Okay.
There's no plane in the world that will ever serve baked potato and steak. None at all. It doesn't even exist in the world. You know what I mean? Yes. You know. Phil correspond. Yes, the history in Link. Jez, oi! I really wish I was on this track at this meeting. I love this track. Well, where are you, Jez? What are you doing? I hope it's something really exciting that you're going off to meet the King of Italy. Is there a king in Italy, or have I just said that wrong?
The Pope.
Oh yeah, go and meet the Pope. Go and see the Pope. You know what I mean? See how you get on. But I hope you're doing something exciting, Jez, rather than driving around this racetrack.
Rather than. I hope you're doing something exciting rather than... So you're saying that this is not exciting, driving around this racetrack?
No, I meant I hope he's doing something mega exciting, because how else is he just going to miss this race? And as he says, he's just got in from work. Well, you can join for race 3 and 4, Jez. Come on, join us. that'll be interesting to see you on, on the racetrack for race 3 and 4. I think that's going to be absolutely incredible. We've got about 1:07 on the clock of this warm-up session. As you can see here, a few of the cars are out on track at the moment, trying to see how if they can improve on areas as well. You can have baked potato and steak on my plane, Dan, says Phil.
I'm taking his plane then.
Well, you go and take his plane. It will save me on the mileage. With the price of fuel recently as well, I can't keep affording you to send you lot all over the world, to be honest, because it's killing me.
Biggles will still go with your plane.
Biggles loves my plane.
Yeah.
He'll take my plane wherever it goes. But there's a lot of air miles involved this week, Dan, and a lot of series that we're covering as well. So we've got 2 broadcasts on Thursday, we've got 3 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, and 1 tomorrow night. So there's plenty of action coming up on the JBB YouTube channel as well. So there we go.
Basically,
yeah.
If James is not casting, or one of James's crews is not casting, you know something ain't right.
Well, I gotta say, last night I actually got a night off. I actually got my first night off in 21, I think it was 21 days in a row.
The wife would have liked that, I think.
Yeah, very much so. I was out all day. So there you go.
What did you spend the night doing?
Well, I was out. I went and saw my mum and that. But run through the grid really quickly.
Andy Littler in P1, Andy Maxwell P2, so pole position 4.
You need to get really quickly.
Carl Jacklin in P3, Roger Morton P4, Lee's Main P5, P6, McBarry 7, Charles Kellyman, Steve Henry P8, Craig Jones in P9, Rolf Gallagher in P10, Jamie Harris P11, P12 for Pete Newman, P13 for Pete Van Gool, Danny Hunt in P14, Dale Bettis in P15, 16 Steve Hansford, 17 Craig Crawford, 18 Charles Allen 2, 19 Martin Sampson, and 20 Carl Harley. Quick enough.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think we need to give these guys a 2-minute warning to say, like, right, don't get on the on track for about 2 minutes, because they do absolutely kill us when they get on so fast. We are literally having to speed read. As for what me and the missus did, we had dinner and then we sat and went and watched a film. I watched The Mummy with Tom.
Nice.
Yeah, I went and watched The Mummy with Tom Cruise. But here we go. The lights are on. The action's about to take place again for Heat 2 this evening. And away we go. Andy Littler is off, guiding us away down on this opening lap of Heat 2 here as well. Andy Maxwell in second place, Carl Jacklett third. However, Elise Main is kind of stalking them all the way through at the moment as well. Mick Barry, Charles Kellerman, oh, Jamie Ayres goes in like an absolute banshee. Hangs it round the outside, Newman's on the grass. Newman's on the grass, he's doing the job of the groundskeeper here tonight as well. Whoa!
Oh, that's not a good rejoin.
No, Carl Hardy and Pete Ballantoon cleared Pete Newman then, as that was not good. Charles Kellerman, Steve Everett are coming now around town 4 and 5. The 2 results clothing guys are side by side as well. Craig Jones and Ralph Cullinan, Jamie Ayres, Pete Van Gool is in there, Daniel Hunt as well. But Andy Maxwell leading us up at the moment, Dan, and is currently sitting with a 0.1 second of a gap over Carl Jacklett, who's absolutely flying. And then behind that as well, Charles Kellerman is gone off track and he is losing the places. So there is the end of Carl Jacklett. Sorry, Charles Kellerman. But Andy Maxwell seems to have got this right under control at the moment, Dan.
Yeah, he does, but I think if... oh, and that's someone off. That's Andy Littler off the track. And that's not what he would have wanted. That is off the track, I think, in the essay or after it, into the oak tree. But if we go back to the front, I think there's a side-by-side battle with Mick Barry and Steve Heffert at the front of the field. But the gap is a little bit too big, too slipstream down this long straight. Who's going to take it? I think Mick Barry is going to give this one to Steve Heffert because he is still in the lead of the AMP. Plus, he's going to try and stick behind and try and stay as close as possible, because if there's someone you can follow to the podium, it's this man, Steve Heffert. Yeah,
Steve knows where he's going to the podium as well, and he can get there quite quickly this evening, so stay tuned for this. Oh, no! Optical red, optical green. Ah! Elise Main, Carl Jacklett.
What did you say? Mick Barry can get there quickly. Look where he is.
Yeah, he's in second place. Can he get the overall? Mick's returned this evening as well after a well-deserved break, I've got to be honest, and he's now back currently in second place, being hunted down by Jamie Ayres. I do want to have a look back at this Elise Main incident as well. So Elise went off, trying to find where Carl went off first. Was it a
McBarry was leading as well.
He's just punted Steve Efford. Oh!
No!
Just as we were about to go to a replay, we saw the action happening, and Mick Barry, Steve Efford come to contact. Oh, just as we were literally, when I thought it had calmed down, it hadn't, and then it was off. Carl Hardy there is another one that's sitting on the side of the track currently at the moment as well, so Carl Hardy has gone off. So as we say, Steve Efford, but my oh my, this is getting action.
It's all kicking off.
Yeah, Martin Sampson trying to come back through the field with Pete Newman right behind him. If anybody's going to pull you through, it's Pete. And the two guys from results, Craig Jones and Ralph Cullinan, are closing on each other really as well. So what is Craig going to do? Is he going to pressurise Ralph and look at making that change of position, Dan? Because obviously, you know, these guys are in the same team as we see Andy Maxwell. Big old drift there. And Ralph has had to hit the brakes there to see just where Andy Maxwell was off to.
Yeah, Greg Jones once again back in the lead of that AM class. Mick Barry, of course, we saw his teammate punted, I think, who was it? Once again, Carl Jack? No, it was Steve Efford. Excuse me, he's now behind once again. But this gap could be close enough to tow down this back straight there. It's going to be close though, but he has to run now. He's going to pull to the inside. He is a very late defense from Andy Maxwell, so he's going to send him around the outside. That will give him the inside for the next part. Breaks later, sends it indeed. And he will get that third position. Craig Jones now up into the overall podium as an AM. Look at this then for a battle at the front of the field. Jamie Ayres trying to overtake Daniel Hunt. Where's this going to go, you think, James?
Well, hopefully not into the barrier. So I'm hoping that's where it doesn't end up, as these guys are battling very, very closely at the moment, but so is Ralph Cullinan and Andy Maxwell. Cullinan on the right-hand side there as well. You can see car number 32. Andy Maxwell is in the results club, in the optical green, sorry, as they head down into turn one, and Ralph Cullinan has made it few. Pete Van Gaal and Pete Newman. Oh, Mike Sampson again! Mike Sampson into PVG, into Roger Morton. And oh, Martin is gonna be kicking himself. He just declared he didn't want to do that in an interview, and what happens? Straight into the side. So unfortunately there, Roger Morton and PVG and Martin Sampson have dropped all the way down the order, so that's not good at all. Steve Efford looks like he's making his way back through the field though after his incident he had earlier on through the hands of Mick Barry. So PVG has jumped straight into the pits now as we're coming down through the S's section we go, and that is Dale Benison overtaken by Steve Efford, as does the ever flying Elise Main right behind him, and she's trying to look at the battle for 10th place currently down as well. Quite an action-packed second race here, Dan.
Yeah, it is. The man with the fastest lap is at the moment in P12, called Jacqueline. So if you can get past all of these and can get back up into the back of Steve Efford, that would be absolutely amazing. Steve Efford, though, is quickest lap time at the moment, not getting in the green lap time at all, it seems like. It's a 2:18, as does Mick Barry. But quite a long lap here this evening at Virginia Raceway. So we're going to look with Elise Main, who's going to try and overtake Mick Barry once again into that stretch out chicane at the end of the straight. And not quite close enough this time round, James.
No, but it is getting very tight in that mid-pack, and Andy Maxwell has got Pete Newman climbing all over the back of him at the moment as well. Pete from Pure Sims, Maxwell from Optical Green. You can see in front we've got Hunt, Ayres, Jones, Cullinan and Maxwell, and at the moment, Dan, it is an absolute incredible fight with these guys currently as well. So there is the way the AMs are shaping out currently at the moment as well. Jones, Benison, Barry, Morton, Hansford, Hunt, Ayres, Cullinan, Newman and Maxwell. So Pete Newman has just cleared Andy Maxwell there at the moment as well, and he's off down the road. Mick Barry all over the back of Dale Benison. They're both in their respective liveries, so that's nice. It's finally updated itself. There, Mick with the purple wheels from Results Clothing I Racing Team. Dale from Work Guard by Results. This is the battle for the AMS as well this evening as well, Dan. And these guys have been incredibly close. Hopefully they don't get too close.
Yeah, Dale Benison trying to defend from Mick Barry, and Mick Barry not quite able to get past, especially in this part of the track. Now he could try it, but it's a very difficult part to try and overtake. The gap is 2/10, not quite close enough, I think, because it still is in the straight, and it's, especially that corner we've just gone through is a corner where, well, you cannot go through side by side flat at least, and if one is going to do so, that's round number 42!
That's Jacqueline.
That's Jacqueline around. Jacqueline once again not getting any luck and a touch as well on Elise Maynard car. And she's right down into P10 overall. Mick Barry now ahead of her, but I think she touched the man ahead of her, Dale Benison, and because of that lost some momentum now, it's going to be the safeguard by Result car, the number, well, let me just take a look,
Roger
the number
Morton.
92, Roger Morton going to try and overtake. Is he going to be able to do it? This is down the back straight. He has the inside for the first part. A little bit further up the road, though, Mick Barry trying to overtake Dale Benison. He has done so. And the least man is down into P11 because Roger Morton has overtaken her as well.
Yeah, there's some absolute incredible action taking place currently at the moment. You can see there the main left-hand screen is their best times, and then after that is the interval gap to each car as well. So there is some great racing going on all the way through the field. Ralph Cullinan has now got Pete Newman already looming onto the back. He even really needs to give Craig Jones a hurry up here, or Jones has got to let him through, but I got a funny feeling, here we go, as Newman comes down, tries to take the ends outside into the NASCAR bend before we go on to left hook. And then we're going to be going right through 5 and 5A there as well. So these guys are going to be out for a battle. What do we reckon? Are they going to be able to keep Pete Newman at bay? We've got 5.5 minutes here. They've got to work together, haven't they?
They do. If they don't, then they don't give each other a slipstream. It could end up wrongly here, but Ralph Cullinan all over the back, and now Pete Newman's going to try and overtake him. Craig Jones not moving out of the way. And it is Ralph Cullinan who's boxed in. Pete Newman now going to try and overtake Craig Jones as well. Going to try and do the double. Not quite close enough though, and Craig Jones keeps his P3. But I think Ralph Cullinan will not be happy with the fact that he's now been overtaken by Pete Newman. And Craig Jones could have easily let him past as a teammate.
Oh, don't open that door! Don't open the door! Oh, come on! The door!
He's been burgled.
He's been burgled. Yes, he has. Craig Jones, you leave your door open like that, and Pete Newman is going to burgle you of that third place. And Newman did just that, didn't he? He just literally took that place away, said thank you very much, I'll have that, and now Daniel Hunt is up into the lead as well. Jamie Ayres took a little bit of a venture off track as well. So all in all, it's all kicking off here in race 2, Dan. Oof. What can we say so far?
A little bit further back, Roger Morton overtaking Mick Barry for second position in the AM class. Here we go, Roger Morton's pass before we get to the apex. Elise Main trying to overtake Dale Benison behind it as well. So battles all across the field. But Mick Barry losing that position to Roger Morton. He's now going to try and stay in the slipstream. Steve Hansen actually dropping down since Steve Hansen has crashed, I think, into the roller coaster and is standing there. Got back going again, but yeah, lost a couple of positions there.
Yeah, exactly. Andy Maxwell is under attack from Steve Heppard after Heppard was involved in an incident with Mick Barry. Oh, Maxwell just take the locks up, and that is Heppard through. Job done for him. Mick Barry's climbing all over Roger Morton again here this evening as well, and with Elise Main about 3 seconds back at the moment. He's not going to be able to get there as we've got about 3:20 on the clock. The guys are going to have this one and one more before we finish off Heat 2 here this evening as well. So this is currently your closest battle with Carl Hardy from the safeguard bar Result, trying to chase down Charles Kellerman. They're coming round the NASCAR bend. Newman from the back of the field, not surprised but always impressed. Absolutely, Ches. Absolutely. Newman is incredibly quick. We know that as well. Main has been off track and come back on again. Poor old Elise Main having a bit of a rough race too at the moment as well, and dropping down the orders, now down in 11th. Carl Hardy though is trying to chase down Charles Kellerman here. here as these guys are now going weaving through the S's. Andy Littler is off a track as well. He's trying to come back on, but Carl Hardy on the left-hand side now makes that move past Charles Kellerman. No love lost from Carl, and through he goes all the way now. He's get back up into 12th currently at the moment, Daan as well. So there's some absolutely epic action going on further down the field. Like Martin Sampson here with Sir Alan Toon. Alan has been, well, he's been like a new man this season, Dan, and he's been defended like an absolute trooper.
Yes, he's now trying to defend from Martin Sampson, doesn't manage to do so. But Alan Toon, of course, with that second place in the AM class last week at Motorsport in Canada, that was, I think, one of his highs in the AM class. But yeah, a renewed Sir Alan Toon in the Autumn Cup, not letting everyone pass that is faster, but fighting for everything. Now onto the last lap goes this man, Daniel Hunt, and he will be starting the last lap. Pete Newman a little bit further back, though, going to be side by side with Jamie Ayres down the main straight into the horseshoe. Pete Newman has the inside, he's going to try to overtake him. Yes, he is. I think he's already paused before we get to the apex.
Yeah, absolutely. Job done before we got there as well. What I'll be interested to see is if Craig Jones can hold Ralph Cullinan back. Because I know for a fact, if Cullinan clears Jones on this last lap, Cullinan is going to be an absolute nightmare in that voice chat. So we'll have to keep an eye on the guys from Results Clothing iRacing team to see how that one pans out for the rest of this lap. But at the moment, Newman, 2.9 seconds, Ayres half a second back at the moment as well, as these guys are heading down through the S's for the final time to try and chase down that red bumpered MX5 of Daniel Hunt from DOF Reality, and I don't think anybody's going to get anywhere near him. I'm going to put this down on my piece of paper that Hunt is going to take the victory. Job done. I won't do second because I'm not entirely sure, Dan, how this one's going to pan out.
Well, Jamie Ayres still in the back of Pete Newman. If he can keep on the back until that back straight within those 2.5 tenths margin, I don't think he is because he was off the track there. But that's going to be it. Craig Jones is lost the position to Ralph Cullinan, and immediately he's down a couple of others. They said, has there been contact between those two? The position where that car is tells to me that it wasn't, and I don't think that there has been contact. Craig Jones, look at the gap. No, I don't think there has been contact. It was Craig Jones on his own with a little bit of a spin. And then, contact, yes!
Oh, there was.
With Ralph Cullinan, but it was Craig Jones who made that mistake on his own. Back to the front, though. Pete Newman still ahead of Jamie Ayres. Daniel Hunt still in first position. Not able to do anything about that. Jamie Ayres is, I think, going to come through to finish in third. And a little bit further up there is Pete Newman coming across the last corner, and he's going to try to get across the line as a victor, but I think no, he's going to get close enough. 3 seconds, look at that gap. Daniel Hunt is going to take this victory, but it's going to be a run down to the line between Pete Newman and Jamie Ayres. He's going to take this one. It's going to be Jamie Ayres. It's going to be close enough. I don't think it's going to be close enough, James.
No, Hunt is your victor there. Newman and Ayres, as they are currently in that position, are finishing off this evening as well. So Hunt got first, Newman got second, Ayres got third there as well. So Ralph Cullinan comes across the line in fourth. Steve Efford with an excellent recovery back up to fifth. Maxwell in sixth. Roger Morton is in seventh with Mick Barry there as well. Dale Bennison is currently in ninth place. So there we go. Dale Bennison is coming across the line in ninth. As we can see, Carl Hardy comes across the line in 10th, up 10 positions there. Charles Kellerman in 11th. Elise Main finishes in 12th. Carl Jacklett 13th. Sampson 14th, and Steve Hansford in 16th. Alan Toon in there as well with Andy Littler. So another absolutely epic evening of racing here tonight, and we'll bring you up the results of race 2 before we jump onto the BRB screen this evening. Dan, over to you.
Well, Daniel Hunt with a dominant performance in race 2 ahead of Pete Newman, who came from the back of the grid from P12 up to P2, so a great race from him once again. Jamie Ayres in P3, Ralph Cullinan in P4, Steve Hefford in P5, Andy Maxwell in P6, Roger Morton in the end coming through to take victory in the AM class out of Mick Barry and Dale Bennison, because the one and only Craig Jones is down on 18 because he had that spin on the last lap, as SDK doesn't want to work with us together. In P10 it's Carl Hardy, in P11 it's Charles Kellyman, P12 for Elise Main, 13 for Carl Jacklett, Martin Sampson in P14, P15 for Steve Hansford, 16 Sir Alan Toon, 17, Andy Littler. Craig Jones in P18, like I said. Pete Van Gool in P19. Don't know what happened to him. I think he was involved in
He's got involved
that
with
starting
these,
crash.
Martin Sampson. Martin Sampson
Okay,
sent it in on him and crashed into the side and put him out.
Yeah, and then we have Craig Crawford in P20.
Yeah, so there you go, guys. That is the end of race 2. We are going to jump onto a BRB screen. Why we changed sessions, so much love for sticking by. As you say, if you are here, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bells for notifications, and give the broadcast a big old thumbs up, because that would be absolutely amazing. But guys, stick with us, go to the toilet, get a drink, because that's what we're going to do, and we'll be right back very, very shortly. Okay, guys, and welcome back as we start off Heat 3 here this evening as well. And as always, you've got myself, James Parfitt, and Daan Pepels bringing you all the action this evening. We are going into Heat 3, so this is going to be an absolutely incredible race after we saw some frantic action in Heat 2 there, Dan. I think at the end of the day, you know, I can't really see Heat 3 being any different.
No, not at all. I think we will see exactly the same thing. Of course, waiting on race 4 because race 2 was already quite the chaos in the beginning. But yeah, it's going to be a good one, I think. More of the same that we had in race 1 and 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And race 3 is always a good one to have as well because it is at this different circuit this evening. I think that's the thing with this tonight. They're seeing a lot of different things happening at this racetrack. You know, side-by-sides on the long straights, which as you can see in front of you, there is 3 of. One of them is through a tricky S's section leading down from 6 to 10, which is at the top part of your screen. But I think that it's manageable side-by-side as long as both cars are sensible, should we say. But at the moment, it's, you know, hit and miss on what really happens as they come down into the hairpin, as we saw with Craig Jones in the last race, who literally just put in chat, absolutely gutted. And Elise Main crying emojis as well. So there's a lot of drivers crying out there this evening from the UkSimracers, and I'm sure they will get it all back together again for race 3. So let's see how this one pans out. We've still got about just under 4 minutes left of practice, so hopefully everything will get loaded in time. I'm not quite sure what's happening with the paint scheme this evening. They're taking absolutely an age to load down, so keep talking, mate. You know what I mean? It might be done by the time we start.
Well, if I have to keep talking, we're going to go back to what happened in race 2 because we saw quite a lot of incidents in of course, the hairpin of the horseshoe, and I think we will see more action into there because that's the corner. I've heard earlier when we were in practice and before we went to the race that also a certain Pete Newman was throwing banana shells on the track as well.
Banana shells or banana skins, Dan?
Skins.
Okay, cool.
Also the same for me.
Well, they don't throw shells, mate. I don't remember bananas coming in shells.
Skins then.
Skins.
Banana skins.
Yeah.
Well, he was throwing them on the track.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and he was.
All right.
They said it. So I think that's why he's been that quick today. He's just thrown some banana skins, James, on the track. And yeah, but no, just to take everything seriously once again, into the horseshoe, I think you will see it's going to be an action zone, I think, for the next few races because it tightens up so much on the exit. But on the entry, it looks like quite a opened up corner. So it's going to be, yeah, a spot to look at for race 3 and race 4.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the thing with this as well. I think the racing, as we know, has been, you know, tight, cleanish. There's been a few incidents, obviously, you know, at least Main coming together with Martin Sampson coming together with PVG in race 2, Mick Barry and Steve Hefford, Craig Jones and Ralph Cullinan. You know, there's teammates in there, mate, as well. And then Martin Sampson declaring that he wasn't going to do what he did in race 2, in race 1, in race 2, and then kind of goes and does it again to Steve Hefford, to PVG. So there's a lot of people who need to work out where their breaking points are currently at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's a difficult track, you know, because you have so much different types of corners here. Slow corners, long-lasting corners, corners that are a hard braking zone for these MX5s, and yeah, just a couple of different styles of corners on this track. So that makes it difficult to adjust to it.
Yeah, I get that, but you know, at the end of the day, they're going into race 3 now, and you know the overspeed seems to be quite a lot, so they're going to have to break that little bit earlier, I think. And I think it's going to be, you know, trialing for these people. These guys are racing round here tonight, so we can see we're at the horseshoe turning there with a massive oak tree hanging over the track. I wonder if that's playing a part with the leaves falling off the track as well, because that would kind of affect most race circuits as well. So, you know, hopefully we'll won't see too much sort of incidents going into race 3, but you know, it's one of them things that kind of is a bit of a given currently at the moment, isn't it, as we come into the last few seconds of practice. So we'll be up and running shortly as well, and we'll bring you the grid. They do get onto the grid very, very quickly. So Dan does have to do his best at speed reading the grid, because it will come up very, very quickly. So you're ready, Dan?
I am. I'm
Off you go.
very ready. There we go. Pete Newman in P1, P3 for Dale Benison, P3 Martin Sampson, Josh Kellerman P4, Craig Crawford P5, Andy Maxwell P6, Ralph Cullen P7, P8 for Jamie Ayres, P9 Meg Barry, Charlotte in 10th, Andy Little 11, 12th, Greg Jones, 13th, it's Carl Hardy, Roger Morton in P14, Carl Jackman P15, P16, Steve Hansford, P17, Steve Hefford, and P18, Pete Van Gogh, Elise Main, and P19 and P20, it's Daniel Hunt.
Done and dusted. Right, let's bring you up the race screen, because we are going green very, very shortly. We've got Carl Hardy on pole at the moment as well. I think that grid may be a little bit out there, Dan, because Carl Hardy is on pole, and he's leading us away as the lights go green for this next race here this evening. And back to it we go again with Carl Hardy in first, Dale Benison second, Mick Barry in third, Charles Kellerman in fourth, and Roger Morton in fifth place. And currently at the moment, everybody seems to have made it round at least. Oh no, there wasn't. Hold on. Dale Benison, Charles Kellerman, Jamie Ayres, Elise Main, Daniel Hunt, Martin Sampson, Steve Hansford, Alan Toon, Craig Crawford. There you go, just a few in turn 1. So there we go.
Like I said, it's going to be a point to look at that whole shoot.
Yeah, absolutely. So Carl Hardy there is in first place with Mick Barry. We are still waiting for the the wonderful world.
Oh, we're hit once again.
Roger Morton. Roger Morton is off. Okay. Oh, so is Carl Hardy. Okay, there's a lot to look back through. We'll get as much of this covered as we possibly can here this evening. Just waiting for everybody's. Oh, Ralph Cullinan. Steve Hefford is gone.
No.
Steve Hefford is gone as well.
What's going on?
I can't answer the question of what's happening, Dan. I really cannot tell you. All I can tell you is Pete Newman, PVG, Ralph Cullinan are a combined 23 places between them at the moment. I am waiting for the liveries to load in as I see Mick Barry sitting on the side of the road as well. So that's another one down here already for race 3. Ralph Cullinan getting big old out of shape as well. He's just PVG, sorry, he lost a place to Pete Newman, and Ralph Cullinan is out in front. Steve Hefford is climbing all over the back of Charles Kellerman at the moment as well. And these guys are side by side as well. Charles just lifts off the throttle, hits the brakes a little bit and allows him through. Jamie Ayres and Craig Crawford here having a absolute epic scrap as these guys go running down into turn 14. Jamie Ayres on the left, Craig Crawford on the right. Who's going to be able to get this one? Is this going to be Craig? Is this going to be Jamie Ayres? As these guys go down now, ready to go for lap 4. It's Jamie Ayres coming out on top there as well. Ralph Cullinan under attack from Pete Newman early on as well, but there was a lot of action back at the beginning, but we'll wait for this to pan out with Newman and Cullinan as these guys are going down the straight into turn 1 currently at the moment with PVG in third place. There's a lot of action happening all over the track at the moment. You can see them, they're nearly 3 wide at the back later on down there as well. Cullinan with a 2:25.980. Newman as well with a 2:25.988, and that's Newman through into first place. Job done for him. Charles Kellerman climbing all over the back of Andy Littler as well. Martin Sampson is involved in this one, Dan. There's a lot going on, mate. Help me out.
There's a lot going on, Daniel. Well, I think we saw a lot of coming togethers in lap 1, which isn't what we normally see here at the UK SimRacers MX5. So down the inside though goes to number 7 of Daniel Hunt. On Carl Jacklett. Carl Jacklett, can he stay ahead? Well, he can't, but can he stay in the top 6 and finally get a good result? For a long while he hasn't, because of some tough luck for him. Can he try and break that streak and now get up at the top 6 and try and stay there? Yes, Craig Jones, the AM driver, to contend with as well behind him. But I think just Carl Jacklett is looking for a consistent result. As we see Ralph Cullinan ahead of Pete Van Gogh. That gap 2/10's not quite close enough to do anything. Ralph Cullinan has the slipstream from Pete Newman. Makes that little mistake. Is Pete Van Gogh going to go up the inside of Oak Tree? He is not. He's going to wait until they get back onto the back straight. But a good run for Pete Van Gool now as well into the slipstream. And this is his chance here.
Yeah, as he's looking right from the nose of PVG. He's going to pull out. We're going to be heading down the left-hand side with him currently at this moment in time as well. See how he's going to be doing this. It's absolutely amazing battle here with PVG as well. Looking onto the board of him, he's just sitting there smiling quite happily. But he's got that inside line. Is he going to make that job done? He is. Job done for him. Andy Maxwell, Carl Jacklett, Daniel Hunt there. Hunter moving back through the field as well. Currently up into 5th place with Carl Jacklett behind him. And Craig Jones behind that as well. Further down the order, Craig Crawford, Sir Alan Toon, Elise Main, they're all mixing it up here. Further down the order, and they're away as well. So there's a lot going on, and I want to try and catch, if we can, just we've got a brief moment. This is what happened at the beginning. It started here with Dale Bennison, and then we're going to see these Russian cars, Kellerman, there, Ayres, Main, Hunt, Sampson, all just kind of parking it there, and there was nowhere else for them to go. There was a lot of cars involved in that one, but we are trying to keep an eye on it as much as possible with PVG and Pete Newman out front currently at the moment, as these guys are on lap 3 of 7 on that left-hander of turn 4. Round left hook we go, and once again they are on their way. But there was a lot of incidents, a lot of people off track there, Dan, on the first lap. Very hard to try and catch it all, but Martin Sampson's just cleared Charles Kellerman and shuts the door then on Jamie Ayres, so Jamie Ayres cannot get through. Carl Jacklett has got Craig Jones to contend with just for good health as well. They go running through the S's currently at the moment, but Pete Newman and PVG are literally nose to tail. Another little pocket of battles happening across the track, and there is loads going on here in race 3.
Pete Van Gool looks quicker though now at the moment in P2. Pete Newman has been the consistent performer this whole evening. But Pete Van Gool has now to let a little bit of a gap to Pete Newman. Does get a better exit out of the oak tree, but we go down this long straight now. He has the better exit, but the gap is just a little bit too big, I think. He is gaining quite rapidly, but I don't think he's gaining rapidly enough. Can he throw it up the inside? Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Here we go then, up the inside of Pete Newman. It's going to be a late move. It's going to give him the inside for the first part, but the outside for the second part. And Pete Van Gool decides the better of it.
Yeah, it really looked like it was going to be a tough one there. Carl Jacklett and Steve Efford are having a nice little battle as they come up over the hill. So is Jamie Ayres and Charles Kellerman as well. These cars sweeping through this double right-hander before we go on down the road once again. Here this evening, we're going to go left for 15, 16, round the hot pen or stag pen or whatever the corner name is going to be here at the bridge. We'll just call it the last corner, and away they go once again as well. You know what, it's just kind of inspiring when you see Pete Newman get out in front, because you sit back and think he has literally come up an absolute country mile, and he's gained 11 places, 26 places. Actually, it's more than that, it's 35 places gained from the cars from 1, 2, 3 and 4. That's incredible, absolutely incredible.
Well, he's done a really good job there, and I think just Pete Newman coming from so far back, once again, so it's not the first time he's done that, but look at everyone who's at the moment in the top 4. At least 6 position gains to get there. I think also a little bit helped. Daniel Hunt now passed Ralph Cullinan in the background. Ralph Cullinan, I think, let that happen quite easily. Pete Newman, though, having to defend for Pete Van Gool all over the grass. And is he going to keep that first position? At the moment he is, but it's going to be difficult for him. Already into lap 4-7, Pete Van Gool with a little bit of a snap over the hill there, but he keeps his car where he has it right now.
Yeah, it's still clean currently at the moment as well between PVG and Newman.
Danny on deep! Danny on deep into Oak Tree, and he has to turn around. He's now going to wait for all those cars to come through, so to cut you off there, James. But I think he's damaged as well, and that might be Danny on this race over. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. Andy Maxwell now has got the ever-looming Craig Jones right behind him currently at the moment as well. These guys going down that long straightaway. Jones on the right, Maxwell on the left there as well, as they've swapped sides coming up over the hill. How is this one going to pan out? I think this is going to be Jones through. It is. Craig Jones is through up into 5th place overall, first in class in the AMS. And now Roger Morton has got Andy Littler for company as well. Here we go as we swoop across the track. The JPP drone giving us all the action here this evening. And round at the corners they go, as they were as well. So that's Steve Hansford, Andy Littler and Roger Morton, all battling over 12th and 11th and 12th place. Andy Maxwell, though, is having a rough time. Currently got Carl Jacklett tucked up right behind him at the moment. Jacklett's pulled out. Is he going to make this move around the outside into turn one? We will going to be finding out very, very shortly. Jacklett's on the grass. He's got loose here. Optical green on the inside, optical red on the out. And it's not Jacklett, it's Maxwell. Maxwell makes a move there. Jacklett goes in a little bit hot, and unfortunately for him, it goes off a little bit wide. Andy Littler still got Roger Morton climbing all over him, as well as so has Jamie Ayres. Still got the ever-looming man on a mission is Martin Sampson. So Sampson's there, hopefully going to try and keep that optical blue car out of the back of somebody here for the third race in a row. Well, first race basically, because he's done it in the first two. But Roger Morton is having this absolute epic scrap with Andy Littler as these guys are going around the double left-hander at 4-5 before they go around 5-8 and down 6 as we go through once again. Newman and Van Gool, though, Dan, not separated.
No, not at all. This has been a battle that's been going on for, well, the beginning, or since the beginning of the race. So for 4.5 laps now, we're into lap 5. 2 laps to go after this one, not a lot to go. And I think these two are going to be, well, you can't split them in any way. If Pete Van Gool can keep in the slipstream, he can keep behind, he can try and make that move. I don't think he's close enough at this point in time.
Maybe.
No, it's not close enough.
He's still got a run. He has his dive to the left-hand side. Dan, is he going to be able to hold it going down into that turn?
Like I said, not quite close enough.
Oh, he was there, Dan. You were a little bit underestimating that one, I think. But further back, here is the battle for 11th place. Steve Hansford, Andy Littler and Roger Morton. They're going to be looking to try and take this free wide. The gap is there if Morton wants it. These guys coming up over the hill, sweeping towards us currently at this moment in time. Jacklett is off the grass. Jacklett is in the grass, and he's doing a bit of cutting.
No.
Carl Jacklett is off and is now jumped straight to the pits there as well. So poor Carl Jacklett having a bit of a rough time. But here is PVG and Pete Newman going down into the hairpin at turn 1. Ches Rizzo said all he can hear is the Dan Hunt, or the Jaws sound coming from the stalking Dan Hunt. Yeah, you can just imagine it now, can't you? Dan, and then Dan Hunt goes off. So, you know, it kind of didn't work out too well there, Ches, but, you know, never mind. I want to have a quick look. Maybe I won't actually at this moment in time, because Pete Newman
down the inside.
Newman's there as well. VG's got to run around the outside. He's trying it. He's not giving up. It's the Dutchman. Through the S is too wide. There's got to be even space left from these two cars. And there is, and at the moment, PVG is on the left. Pete Newman on the left now because the camera's swapped and they've changed sides. Pete Van Gool goes up into first place. Excellent move there from them two, side-by-side racing all the way through that section of the track, Dan, and they've managed to keep it clean.
Well, Pete Newman always looks a little bit slower into Oak Tree. That might just be the case off some slipstream. Well, here we go then. Pete Newman wavy quick on that first bar, but on the exit it looks like it's always Pete Van Gool. Yes, it is this time around once again, but Pete Newman immediately starts gaining. And now we're back down this long straight once again for the second to last time. We're on the 6th lap of 7. And once again, we're going to get into the roller coaster. And is Pete Newman going to be able to make that move stick? At the moment, not quite close enough, but is he going to be able to gain enough? Yes, he is. Down the inside he goes, but is he going to be able to be close enough to make that one stick down the inside? Yes, he is. Pete Van Gool knows that he has a charge on the last lap. Lets him pass and maybe counts on the fact that he has a slipstream on the last lap.
Well, Ches Rizzo has said PVG is doing well to stay with him, but I think Newman has it in the bag. Brave words there, Ches. I'm not going to lie. I'd never count out the flying Dutchman that is PVG. However, Martin Sampson is trying to steal and close on Andy Maxwell, and he's still got Jamie Ayres tucked up right behind him as we go on to the final lap of the race here, back up front with Newman and PVG. Pete's using that slipstream and using that toe. I thought they were going to come to contact there as well. Pete's got a very tight line. He's going to kind of hopefully not jeopardize his exit as he's coming into turn 2 and 3. On this rundown now, into left hook we go. Pete Van Gogh, Pete Newman. Who's going to get it, guys? Who is going to get this race? Pete Van Gogh's got that long straightaway. If he could just stay close enough up through the S's, Dan, I think he's got a great opportunity here.
Yeah. See, we've seen it do him, or we've seen him do it here before. He's going to try and go around the outside this time. It's a tricky point of the track to try and make that overtake. Pete Newman now keeps it down the inside. Pete Van Gogh, I think, just pressurizing him.
Oh,
what was that for?
Sorry, I thought they were going to come to contact there. The moment Newman come over. Oh, no, Pete! Oh, he's held it. Tokyo drifted in the car, but he's not. Pete Newman's got it deep. How is this going to pan out? There's errors from these two on the last lap. I think Newman is going to get it, though. I don't think VG is going to be close enough as they're coming up over the hill. No, he's not. That draft is not playing strong enough for Pete Van Gogh. It is now, but it's a little bit too late, I think. And PVG is going to have to settle for second place this evening as he's going into the right hand of the roller coaster. I don't think he's close enough, Dan. I really don't. I think this is going to be PVG's win. However, Jamie Ayres is having a go at Andy Maxwell here, and he's not going to get that either. But I think Pete Van Gogh has taken this victory here this evening, and we will see him come across the line. There is Pete Newman, with PVG tucked up right behind him as well. Ralph Cullinan's got the looming Steve Hefford right behind him at the moment as well. Steve's pulled out. It's going to be Cullinan getting third place, only just, mind you, from Jones in fifth, Sampson sixth, Maxwell, Ayres, Kellerman in seventh. Roger Morton will be coming across the line in eighth place, and that, Dan, was kind of one of the epic races that we were expecting.
Well, at this point, it's becoming the standard at the UK SimRacers. I think it was before, but they've once again, I think, just raising the bar.
Absolutely stellar race there from these guys as well. Next year, I am starting a bookies. Well, Jez, if you start it, mate, let me know, and I'll not invest, because I wouldn't want to be putting money on anyone in this series. I've got to be honest, mate. There is just so many good drivers. I wouldn't even like to hazard a guess of how this is going to pan out, but I want to have a look back at what happened to Daniel Hunt. Did he manage to... Oh, he started there. He got a little bit squirrely, and then he just too quick. Did he hit the back? Yeah, he did. Look at this. Boom. Flat tyre, steering out, everything gone for Daniel Hunt, unfortunately, as well. But there was people off all the way through the track as we bring you up the results once again of race 3. Now, I can read these because I can read these a little bit more comfortable because I don't have to have a speed read the results. So Pete Newman is in first place. Pete Van Gogh from Team Momo is in second. Ralph Cullinan in third. Steve Hefford in fourth. Craig Jones in fifth. Martin Sampson is in sixth. Andy Maxwell seventh. Jamie Ayres in eighth. Charles Kellerman in ninth. Roger Morton 10th. Elise Main in 11th. Andy Littler in 12th. Carl Hardy 13th. Steve Hansford finishes in 14th. Dale Benison 15th. Craig Crawford 16th. Alan Toon is in 17th. And Carl Jacklett down in 18th. Daniel Hunt in 19th. And poor Mick Barry at the back end of the field down in 20th. Well, there you go. What happened to Dan was exactly what Martin was talking about in his interview after race 1. Yeah. And the thing is as well that for Martin Sampson, he said he wasn't going to do it again. And he did it in race 2. I just want to see what happened to Mick Barry if I can. So this is what happened to Mick Barry. Mick gets it wrong on the grass, torpedoed the barrier. And that's the end of that one as well. But guys, a very tricky corner to get right. Yeah, I think this whole track is lending itself to that, Chairs. I've got to be honest. But what we're going to do, guys, is for the second and final time this evening, we're going to jump onto the BRB screen. And we'll be right back after this short break. Okay, guys, we are back now for race 4 this evening, and already I've got the wonderful Steve Hefford, who hasn't joined me this evening in the booth. So let's bring in Steve into the booth. Steve, how are you, sir?
Yeah, not bad, you?
I'm not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Well, it's been an interesting night for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it has. I've not had any luck really, but you got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't you?
Yeah, I think that's the thing after the, incidents that we've seen, and you and Mick Barry having to come in together, and how are you going to battle that in race 4, Steve? Because there has been so much happening. Like the beginning of race 3 was just chaos. There was so many cars involved at the beginning. It was completely insane. There doesn't seem to be a game plan for anyone here. It's more of a kind of I must survive, really.
Yeah, it's a tight track, isn't it? It's difficult to pass. If someone doesn't do anything wrong, it's really difficult to pass. But also there's lots of, well, it's early laps as well as massive differences in speed between people and stuff. And it's so easy to get caught out. I caught Rog on the back end then on lap 1, going through into the twisty bit at the start. But literally once I tapped in, it was the slightest of touch. Once I tapped in, there was no coming back for him really. But and then I had Ralph next to me, and I didn't even know he was there. I spun myself around his nose, but luckily did the 360 and carried on. But race 1 said it all really. Getting a black flag at the start for jumping, I just lifted the clutch to the bike point and it just crept forward. So I had to come in and pit then, but got back to a decent position. Race 2, I should have won. Got rear-ended into turn 1, but it's one of those. It's easy to do. Massive overspeed there. The car behind if you've got draft. And then race 3, spun myself around the front of Ralph. So I think it's just you just got to stay alive, haven't you? Really, and just do your best. Really, try and stay out of trouble.
But it seems really difficult here.
It is. It's such a difficult track. You can't go flat out through the S's and stuff. It's risky. Any making a pass anywhere really. You've got the back straight, which is decent for making passes. But apart from that, anywhere you put your car in a position, it can end in disaster really. So.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's no easy way. There's no easy answer.
There isn't, is there, to be honest? Because we've watched cars coming through that S's, and you're taking so much curve to try and straight line that section as much as possible that we've seen cars go off. Mick Barry's gone off in there as well. Craig Jones coming off as he went round the right-hander, dropping down the hill to go into the double right at the end, round the oak tree. He went off and got absolutely torpedoed by Ralph Cullinan because he was already spinning round. Rizzo's been in chat. Rizzo's been in chat. And he said it's very technical track, this one.
Yeah,
and he does wish he was here. He got home late from work, unfortunately. Didn't manage to eat dinner in time, so he's unfortunately going to be watching. But it just seems to be that if you can make it past the first 2 or 3 laps without anything happening, you should be golden. But it's the first 3 laps that this car just seems Bambi on ice here. And, me and Dan were talking earlier, and Dan had PVG in voice chat saying, please stop throwing banana skins out the window, Pete Newman, because I'm sliding all over the place here. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, isn't it? It just seems to be a constant slide fest through the first 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah. We had a word with Mick, who puts the sessions up, and asked him could he raise the temperatures because the hotter weather makes it easier to drive on lap 1. So if people are struggling, it's a bit of an advantage. It used to be the other way around. We always had the coldest weather you could have because it was easier to drive, and it caused less incidents. But that's not the case now. You want a bit of heat in the tyres on lap 1. So the quicker you can get up to temp, the better. So I don't know if that's going to make any difference, and I don't know if he's done it on this session.
Well, you're in the dark.
He said he was going to do so. Yeah. I think it's sunrise, isn't it? This one. So.
Well, 6:10. The 6:10, and I'm going to presume it's in the morning. To be honest, May the 15th,
Yep.
23 degrees.
23. What's that in Fahrenheit?
Well, my dad always told me to double the number, which was 46, add 30, which is 76. And that was it. I don't know if it is that
that's
easy,
good
Steve.
then, yeah, 'cause,
Don't take my word for that.
We asked him to do just between 72 and 75 around there kind of thing, which sounds about right.
Yeah,
'Cause I think we told this is 66, so this might be a little bit better. He'd already put session 3 up when we mentioned it to him, and he said he'd try and do it so he has for race 4. So hopefully it'll be a bit easier for people on lap 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, mate, we've got about a minute to get you back into this track and get you back into your chat. So you go and have a good one, and hopefully we won't say the words, oh, no, there goes Steve Hefford.
Yeah.
All right, mate. So enjoy race 4.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Take care, mate. Right, there we go. That was the wonderful Steve Hefford, who joins me every single week, and much love to him. He's like my resident interviewee as we come into race 4. We are coming towards the end of the practice. They've got literally about 30 seconds, which gives me 30 seconds to say welcome in. Hope you're all having a fabulous evening. Thank you so much for joining me. And Dan, of course, for sat here commentating on this absolutely epic league. I did say it was one of the best leagues on iRacing, and I still stick by that now because it is absolutely incredible. But much love to everybody. And as I say, if you are here, just hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe and turn on the bells, because we are literally 3 away from 200 this evening, which, to be honest, may not sound a lot to anybody really, but to us who's only been going 6 weeks on the JPB YouTube channel, I think that's absolutely amazing. So thank you so much. Right, we are going to come into the grid. My resident speed reader is going to come back into the booth. Hopefully this grid should match up the one that is actually done. So we're just waiting for that to kick in as we go right about now. Off you go, Dan.
Here we go then. Sir Alan Toon will start in pole position here in this race. Craig Crawford in P2, Dale Bennison P3. So in all, front row and second row, Steve Hansford in P4, Carl Hardy in P5, and Littler P6, Elise Main P7, Roger Morton P8, Charles Kellerman in P9, P10, Jamie Ayres, P11, Andy Maxwell P12, Martin Sampson, Craig Jones P13, Steve Hefford P14, P15, Ralph Cullen P16, Pete Fango P7, 17 Pete Newman, 18 Daniel Hunt, Mick Barry in P19.
But there you go.
Again.
And he's off. Right, so there we go. On to race 4 now. 5 lights are on the clock. And we've got Sir Alan Toon leading us away with Craig Crawford coming into second place, and right behind him at this moment in time as well. We have got that very slippery turn 1. So Alan Toon, Craig Crawford, Dale Bennison, Carl Hardy, Andy Littler. How's this going to work out here? These guys, oh, it's like a full stop. Full stop. And Andy Littler is going down the order, but currently Sir Alan Toon is still out in front with Dale Bennison there. Dale Bennison goes past Alan Toon as well. Carl Hardy's trying to battle his way through, but he's got the ever-looming Craig Crawford. There's been an incident with Craig Jones and Andy Littler, Martin Sampson, PVG, Andy Maxwell. Oh, there was another big one there as well. We'll catch up with that action later on as we finish off this race. But Craig Crawford and Elise Main battling out for 4th and 5th. Oh, Craig's got a... Oh, there's more. No, Main's gone round. Somebody else has gone round. Mick Barry. Was that Mick Barry? Ralph Cullinan. The Main. PVG. All of them. Dan.
It's all kicking off here once again in race 4. A lot of drivers off in the first lap, but it seems like Sir Alan Toon is now in P3 and quite safely in P3. He has Roger Morton behind him. Sir Alan Toon, no! Oh, Sir Alan Toon was on such a good streak, and oh man, was he P3? Oh, also off his
Jamie Ayres.
Also almost off of Jamie Ayres, but Roger Morton in P3 just keeps ahead. Dale Bennison though, as an AM class driver, still in P1.
Yeah. Well, that was crazy beginning to this race as we see Roger Moore-Carr and Jamie Ayres there tucked up right behind at the moment. This is the battle for 2nd and 3rd place. So Jamie Ayres has made the move past Roger Morton. Jamie Ayres has got to be sitting here thinking he could win this now, isn't he, right? Because at the end of the day, he's in a fine position. As we can see, the 3 results clothing iRacing team there. Mick Barry, Craig Jones, Ralph Cullinan all kicking off still. Oh, no, that's Craig Jones on the grass. So is Mick Barry. Well, there we go, Dan. It's all still kicking off. I don't really know what else to say, really, apart from Daniel Hunt is chucking down Roger Moore, repeating him, and Steve Hefford. Charles Kellerman is in the pits. Alan Toon's in the pits as well. Kellerman went off track, and it looked like he may have torpedoed the barrier at the same time. So all in all, Dan, it's been an adventurous start to race 4 as always.
Well, yeah, like you said, as always, we're kind of used to this in race 4. Just all craziness goes out of the window, and they immediately just chuck it at the inside because they know it's the last race. They now got the confidence. They've driven around the track. They've raced around the track 3 times already. And I think every driver has the confidence at that point to just chuck it up the inside, and they do it. And sometimes that does result in a little bit of contact and drivers going off the track. At least that's the explanation they have themselves for it. But yeah, Steve Hafford, we're looking with him here. He's trying to overtake Pete Newman. Carl Hardy in P2, overtaking Dale Bennison now for the overall lead. Dale Bennison not only losing 1, but also losing a 2nd position to Jamie Ayres. And Daniel Hunt now behind him, looking to turn him down as well.
Oh, Newman's off. Newman's off in the barrier. Oh, he held it. He held it, only just, mind you, but is now plunging down the order. PVG is all over Andy Maxwell currently as well, but Carl Hardy's got Jamie Ayres all over the back of him at this moment in time. There is pockets of battles everywhere, and we're trying to bring you all the action here on JPB. As you can see, it is really pretty tight and manic throughout the length of this circuit. Carl Hardy on the left with the green wheels, Jamie Ayres on the right. Daniel Hunt is just going to try and slot in the middle because, right, why not? It's race 4, but Carl Hardy's lost that place to Jamie Ayres. Is he going to lose it to Daniel Hunt as well? He's not. Dale Bennison and Roger Moore, both battle of the arms, lead at the moment. Steve Hefford looks like he survived. He's up 8. Daniel Hunt is up 15 places down. 15!
Already 15, this early on into the race. Only 2 laps into it. Well, yeah, 2 laps at this point. We're entering lap 3, and he could get another position here around the outside of Carl Hardy. He's going to be able to make that move stick. Yes, he is. Seems like that's going to be a pretty easy pass down the inside of the hairpin. And a little bit further back, we have Steve Hefford also around the outside of Roger Morton. Roger Morton had to give up that position, although he was on the inside. Dale Bennison, though, still in 6th. Roger Morton looking good for a victory in the AM Plus.
Yeah, currently at the moment, that is how it is sitting, guys, as well. Jamie Ayres is in 1st from DOF Reality. Daniel Hunt there as well in 2nd place. Then we've got Safeguard by result in 3rd. Momo 4th. Safeguard by result. Workguard by result. And Results Clothing iRacing Team 5th, 6th, and 7th. Momo 8th. Obstacle Green 9th. Results Clothing iRacing Team in 10th and 11th. That's Craig Jones, a bit Barry. Pete Newman down to 12th, and then we've got Optical Red, Blue and Red, which is at the hands of Crawford, Sampson and Main. Littler, Kellerman, Toon are out, and not sure if Steve Hansford even took the grid currently on that one as well. So no, it doesn't look like Steve Hansford is even taking a grid. But Jamie Ayres has got Daniel Hunt climbing all over him as well. Steve Hefford has got the Carl Hardy in front of him at the moment as well. So we're going to see how this one pans out for these guys going down this back straight. First up, we'll start with Daniel Hunt and Jamie Ayres, and I've got a feeling Dan Hunt is going to get this move done, Dan.
Well, he's close enough to stick in the slipstream, and I think he's close enough to be paused before they get to the apex. And there we go, he's paused, and Jamie Ayres back down into P2. Danny Hunt up into P1. He's been looking quick from the start on in. 70 positions up at the moment. And, well, at this point, he can't gain any further, but what he can do is increase that gap to Jamie Ayres behind him.
Yeah, Jez, unfortunately that didn't happen. Hold Dan up, Jamie. Steve is on his way. Yes, he is, but unfortunately he didn't manage to hold him up this time around, as Jamie Ayres and Daniel Hunt now coming round to the end of lap 3, ready to start lap 4. Jamie Ayres is going to get the big dose of the draft coming down now currently at the moment. Steve is on his way. The ever-looming Steve Hefford is on his way. Andy Maxwell has got Pete Newman, Mick Barry. They're almost 3 wide there, with Craig Jones currently in front of him as well. You can see him here as they leading off. Behind that, Andy Maxwell, Craig Crawford are side by side at the same time. But is this going to be Newman's battle with Barry? Is Barry going to allow him through? Barry's got him deep. He's run very wide. He's hugging that line again. There's contact. Can he hold the outside line for Mick Barry? He's not giving this up. He's not giving it up. Oh, job done and dusted. But Daniel Hunt now is opening up a half a second gap over Jamie Ayres, over Steve Hefford, with PVG all the way back down in 8th. But Pete even Payback Goals up 8 places, Dan. It's not like he's had a slouchy evening so far to race 4.
Not at all, but all these drivers gaining quite a lot of position. Steve Heffert up 11, Jamie Ayres up 8, Ralph Cullen up 8, Pete Van Gool up 8, like you said, and Mick Barry also up 8 from the back of the field, starting from P19 up into P11, and that's P4 in the AM class at the moment, trying to overtake Pete Newman. Oh, that was Steve Heffert with a big snap, and he manages to keep that car going in a straight line. But yeah, Steve Heffert finally back up into the podium because he has had a rough evening, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, even under his own words, he said he's having a rough evening. You know, spun twice, hit up the bum once. It's been a crazy night for him, but Steve is now climbing all over the back of Jamie Ayres. Where is he going to go? Jamie's surely going to allow him through on the inside line. Jamie's pulling in Daniel Hunt's draft as well currently at the moment, so he may be surviving just that little bit longer. Here from the ever-looming 72, Steve Heffert. Oh, Heffert goes in. Oh, they're going to be side by side going around this hairpin. No. Don't like the look of this. Daniel Hunt is getting away. You guys got to stop. Daniel Hunt's getting away. Oh, they're not stopping Dan.
There's no stopping them. They're still side by side going through that last corner. Can you make that move stick is the question, because the next corner will also be to the right, so it will, I think, be Jamie Ayres who will have still the edge over Steve Heffert. The number 72 of Steve Heffert. Can he make that move around the outside? Behind him is Carl Hart and Roger Morton looking to try and capitalize if these two do touch. But at the moment, Steve Heffert not found his way past.
No, not yet. Sorry, Dan. That was Jamie Ayres getting a big old slide on there all the while. Daniel Hunt is opening up 1.7 second of a gap. Ayres got to make a decision. Let Heffert through, otherwise you are under attack from Carl Hardy. So he's either got to let him through, or he's going to be fighting all the way here to the line. He's not giving this place up. I've got to be honest, it's an incredible fighting for Jamie Ayres, but they are all over, and at the same time they're losing places. It's incredible here from these guys as well for lap 5 at this moment in time, and all the while Daniel Hunt is just making a merry way on his way there. Look at the battle. Here it is, these 4 cars. Carl Hardy in the mix, Roger Morton as well, Steve Heffert and Jamie Ayres doing an absolutely epic battle here this evening as we're coming on at lap 5 through to lap 6 down.
You can see how loose the car gets over the top there. The drivers have to turn basically their steering wheel to the right in the left-handed corner. So normally when you have to turn right in the left-handed corner, you know that there's something that isn't right. But yeah, Steve Heffert, you can see how loose the car gone. He's now within that slipstream ridge though. Can he try it up the inside? Because the longer he stays behind, the more vulnerable he's going to get to the drivers behind. Carl Hardy already looked to make that move, but now Steve Heffert is on the inside, and I think now Steve Heffert can go past. This Carl Hardy going to try and make that move stick as well. No, he's not. He tried it. He had gone off deep, but look at that. A touch there between, I think, both normal drivers, and Steve Heffert was off.
Yeah, touched on the rear by Jamie Ayres, and that unfortunately has put Steve Heffert down into 3rd place. Roger Morton had to hit the brakes as well. Ralph Cullinan has been overtaken by PVG, so Pete Van Gool is now making his way back up at the same time. So it's absolutely epic scrap currently going on as well. Pete Van Gool and Ralph Cullinan. Ralph Cullinan has come back through again. Can he now hold this run down into turn 1? He is going to have the outside line. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to chop PVG's nose off. It's going to be done and dusted. I think PVG is going to hold the inside line around this hairpin now. Oh, Pete Van Gool's hit the brakes and allowed Ralph Cullinan off and through. But Roger Morton's got the ever-looming Jamie Ayres, Carl Hardy right back behind him at the same time as well. Martin Sampson is also mixed up in a battle with Andy Maxwell and Mick Barry. Dale Bennison is involved with one as well, with Craig Jones. There's pockets of battles all the way through this field here this evening as we go into this absolutely incredible race for Dan. 1 lap remaining, mate. 1 lap remaining already.
Well, it's gone quick this evening. Jamie Ayres trying to find his way past Roger Morton once again. If Roger Morton could pull this off, a podium just on pace and on merit here, of course with a little bit of luck here with Jamie Ayres and Steve Heffert colliding, but if he could pull this off, that would be absolutely amazing. But he's off the track, and Jamie Ayres is now past. The gap is 3 tenths. Can he stick behind closely enough to try and overtake you after Oaktree once again? The answer is yes, he can. The gap is 4 tenths. It's about the the maximum where you want to be, but it's going to be tight.
Yeah, absolutely, it's going to be tight. He's not going to be able to get him on this lap, I think. He's got to try and stay with him for the majority of this lap to really have a good old shout going down into the last lap, as we are on lap 6 of 7 here on the top left-hand corner there. But Roger Morton has got to try and stay with Jamie Ayres as much as he can. Now, Roger Morton, don't get me wrong, is absolutely flying at the moment and is doing an absolute stellar job, but he's got to try and stay with Jamie Ayres. Oh, I thought we were going to end up in the back end of Jamie Ayres there. Morton's got to stay with him. It's got to be towing him now on lap 7. Here we go. Can Morton do this? Can he get this car up into 3rd place on merit? Stay with him. Don't do it now. Don't do it now. Stay with him for the rest of this lap if you can. Here we go now. Roger Morton's got to stay with him around the higher pin. He's got to get on the gas. Carl Hardy could be able to, he's got to be able to do his, Carl Hardy's got to do him a favour. He's got to do him a favour. Hold him up. Got to hold him up.
Well, is he going to do so? Because that will make him vulnerable himself on that backside, and he could actually lose out. So look, if he is holding him up, he's going to actually give him a slipstream. But Steve Hefford now could put Roger Morton down a position on the last lap at the gap of Danny Hardas, 8.6 seconds. He's going to be clear. Nothing's going to happen to his victory if he doesn't do anything stupid on the last lap. But this could be a big, big battle here. Steve Hefford's going to try it before they get to the oak tree. Is that going to be a smart decision? Roger Morton's going to defend the inside, though. A little bit further back. Ralph Cullen with Pete Newman as well. Battles all across the field here in the last moment of this race.
Yeah, we've got Carl Hardy, Jamie Ayres, Roger Morton, Steve Hefford. We've also got Ralph Cullinan and Pete Newman. So we are going to try and bring it all at the same time. I will promise I will try and see Daniel Hunt across the line. But let's see how this one pans out, because Jamie Ayres has got the ever-looming Roger Morton. Morton's about 4 tenths back. Ayres is back behind that as well. Then we've got Cullinan and Newman. So this is going to be an absolute epic battle right the way to the line here. As you can see, these guys absolutely flying. Morton's got to come out. You've got to come out. Box Hefford in. Don't jeopardize yourself. So that's the problem. And they're going to be going side by side. He opened up the door. Newman's cleared Cullinan. Jamie Ayres cleared Carl Hardy. And Steve Hefford cleared all of them. So Roger Morton now is down into 5th place. Jamie Ayres in 2nd. Daniel Hunt comes across the line. Well done. GG to you, my man. But
Steve
let's
Hefford
see.
got P3. Look at that.
Oh, Steve Hefford, Carl Hardy, Roger Morton, Newman, Cullinan. Steve Hefford passed Carl Hardy. He did it here. So there is Hardy there as we go round the last corner. Oh, Hefford forces his way up there, didn't he? He tightened up that last section and manages to get the job done. But that was just incredible. Hunt, Ayres, and Hefford resumes his podium finish once again, and is on the podium there as well. So what an absolute credible end to this evening's racing. I think we'll all agree it's been absolutely amazing as we see Steve Hefford absolutely taking this car to another level and trying to spin it as best as he can. We'll just wait for the final results to come in. We'll just wait for Elise Main, who's just crawled across the line. Well done results, boys. Yeah, absolutely incredible there as well. But I will read the grid. I think you're going to have to go, Dan, aren't you?
Yeah, well, if you just want to know why my dad got mad, because, well, I'm a little bit too loud and it's the point where they want to sleep. In the UK, I know it's only 10 o'clock, but here in the Netherlands, it's 11 o'clock already, and my dad has to work tomorrow, so he has to sleep as well.
Okay, mate. Well, you jump off for the evening. Don't go upsetting your dad anymore. And thank you again for joining me. So I will close out, no problem at all. So that's Dan Peoples. Much love to you once again, Dan. And I'll probably catch up with you tomorrow, no doubt.
Yes, we will.
Take care. Right, so here are the results from race 4, guys. Daniel Hunt is in first, Jamie Ayres in second, Steve Hefford in third, Roger Morton in fourth, Carl Hardy in fifth, Pete Newman in sixth, Ralph Cullinan in seventh, Pete B. Gould in eighth, Craig Jones in ninth, Dale Bedison in 10th, Martin Sampson in 11th, Andy Maxwell is in 12th, Mick Barry in 13th, Craig Crawford in 14th, Elise Main down in 15th, Alan Toon 16th, Andy Littler 17th, and Charles Kellerman all the way down in 18th place. Steve Hansford there is behind him in the 19th. Not sure Steve actually took to the racetrack. I never actually saw him move. So there you go. So much love to you all. It's been a wonderful evening. Let's have a look. What have we got lined up for you next week? We are off to Mid-Ohio. That's going to be an incredible race for round 8 at Mid-Ohio. Then we go off to Sonoma, then Zandvoort, Road Atlanta, and we finish out the season at Knock Hill. And I think, guys, you can safely admit that that is one hell of a remaining 4 races left in this league. Mid-Ohio, Sonoma, Zandvoort, Road Atlanta, and Knock Hill. So that's actually 5, James. You know, 4 plus 1. So there you go. I think overall it's been an absolute epic night of racing. And thank you so much to everybody that's joined me this evening. Jez, I hope you're still here. Much love to you. Peace out. Thank you for joining me as well. And then we had a flurry of activity in the middle as well. Craig Jones, Elise Main, Phil across the pond as always. Thank you so much for coming in. PVG jumped in there as well. Mick Barry, Jeremy Noyes, Daniel Nagel. Hopefully a good evening. I hope you're still here, young sir. Thank you so much for joining me as well. And I think you admit it's been an absolute incredible night of racing, guys. But that's it for tonight's broadcast. I will see you tomorrow night. I won twice when you backed me. Yeah, well, yeah, this is also true. So, but then he did back you once, and unfortunately you did go off track. So, you know, it's a little bit of 50-50 there, Miss Main, I'm afraid, because, you know, when he did back you last time, you did go off track. But that is it for tonight's broadcast, guys. As always, don't forget to give the video a big old thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the bells for notifications. I will see you tomorrow night for the Next Gen GT3 from Sebring. But all that's left for me to say this evening, guys, is you all take care, have a great week, and you never know, I might see you on the track sometime. Good night.